Kia ora, Rebecca, how are you?
Kia ora, Calli. Lovely to be here with you.
It is. I know you're Savitri, so I'm going to keep calling you Savitri.
That's fine. That's fine. You can call me whatever you like. I won't take it
Well,
first.
it'll always be nice things that I will call you. And for anybody watching this recording, Savitri is Rebecca's Sanskrit name, and we'll probably get a little bit into that in a few minutes. So it's so lovely to have you. And I'm kind of not been doing many of these recordings, many of these interviews lately, but I'm doing it for all my special friends.
Oh, hey, thank you. I feel honored. It's lovely.
The honor is mine. So, Savitri, could you give us a little bit of background to yourself and take us on a bit of the journey that you've been on and
Ooh,
the
well, you
destination
got
that
your magic
you're
carpet?
now? Yeah, let's do it. You're wearing yours today. Your
My
magic
magic
carpet.
carpet. Yes, thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah, I don't quite know what I'm here to share, but we'll see what comes out. Yes, my birth name's Rebekah, and I'm a writer, and I'm based in the lower North Island of New Zealand. Um, and I'm also a mum and a meditation teacher. And that's where my Sanskrit name that you mentioned, Savitri, comes in from that practice that I learned quite some years ago. Um, yeah, so I guess I've, evolved along the way and continue to evolve. And I think we probably met, I don't know, a good 10 years ago or
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that long ago, but it seems like ages ago. Time's just bizarre for me at the moment.
it
We
is.
actually learned probably around the same time, 2008. But
Yes, 2008
yeah,
when I first
yeah,
learned
we learned to
meditation.
meditate. Yeah,
Yes. And then I think we met at a retreat in
yes, in
Coromandel, in
Nana.
my
Yeah.
retreat. Yes. And I have very fond memories of coming to see you in Rotorua. And we had
The
that
school.
fabulous day where we went and taught because you were teaching at a intermediate school. And
Yes, I was.
yes, and invited me and Veroni in to come and teach the meditation to the kids. And that was so much fun. We managed to get through teaching every class in the school in one day. It was
So
quite a
that's a huge feat, yeah, especially those kids, because a lot of
yeah.
them were like, no,
Oh,
not
so
easy.
much fun. I
Going
loved
around Rotorua.
it. Yes. I love teaching kids because they're so they're so open and still pretty innocent. And so
And
and
honest.
so and honest.
So
That's
honest.
right. They'll tell you where it's at. They're very straightforward.
This is boring.
Yeah, that's right. It just makes it more challenging to capture their attention and make them realize they have attention to capture because that's what the meditation is about. Really, it's about your attention.
Yes, it is
So
indeed. So
yes.
where did you learn, Rebecca?
Yes,
What
I learned,
let's start
as you
on that.
say, in 2008. So this type of meditation, which is known as Ascension or the Ishaya's Ascension, it was being taught by a group known as the Bright Path in Wellington, and that's where I learned. So I was with that group for quite some time and really enjoyed the meditation so much, found it made such a difference to my life that I wanted more and more of it. and um, and that's when I went and did a mastery course and started teaching. Yeah, so that was, I think, 2012, 2013, started teaching. I've since left that organisation because we were no longer aligned, let me say. But,
And these things happen, don't they?
yes, indeed.
Paths
But
converge and then diverge, and so
yes,
that's life.
there were certain events that occurred that I could not be associated with, so I left that organisation. But very much continue to enjoy the meditation itself, and when people ask me to teach, I'm happy to teach. So I have a little retreat centre, as you know, just up near Otaki, and enjoy teaching there because it's a beautiful place of nature.
It's
And
such a beautiful, peaceful place. It's
yes,
stunning.
well,
Yeah.
always being out in nature will have that effect, that meditative effect on us anyway, in terms of, that calm that we feel, that being alive, nature really reminds us. Yes.
That we're actually part of something a lot bigger than uh, that. Actually is no separation, you know.
Yes,
Um,
yes. So
nature
going out
brings
into
us.
nature, it does help us to connect back and remind ourselves. So that's always a top tip, for people who are looking to for a bit more peace and calm in their lives, is to get out in nature, because I think we're all in need of a bit more peace and calm.
Yes, especially in the last few days.
Well, yeah,
Globally, I've had
it
people
seems
are
that way,
like,
doesn't it? That's right. World is freaking
whether
out.
it be in a positive way or negative way, it's not.
That's right. Well, there are huge shifts that are occurring at the moment, and it's very disconcerting for us
To
all.
say the least. Yeah, absolutely,
But it's
absolutely.
having an effect on so many levels, because it has an effect on the individual, each of ourselves, but also um, on the collective, which again affects the individual. And it's like this supercharged shift going on at the moment that's really quite fascinating to observe, and to observe, first of all, from within yourself, to see uh, how you're reacting to things. And I always like to ask myself, well, where's my attention? Where is my attention going? And what is my intention um, within that, to remember to, where I'm coming from, because that affects me and it affects others. And I don't wish to be pulled into anything that will take me in a direction that is not in my highest good, let's us say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, and um, I find so often that for me, certainly, um, you know, what is my highest good? I often ask
Mm,
myself that question, because when I'm in an experience that I don't necessarily like, it's so easy to say, oh, this is not my highest good, and try and
mm,
reject it.
mm,
But I think at the moment, it's like a collective learning that we it's not necessarily the situation that you're in that you can change, but it is your experience of it that you can change.
it's your relationship with that, isn't
Mm.
it? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
So,
not in control of very much.
and we're probably not even in control of our experience, to be honest.
Oh, no, but we can control where we're putting our attention. That is
That's
like
it.
the only one thing I've found that I can control.
Or we can or we can choose. Yeah, I don't even know if it's a control thing, really. It's
Yeah,
it's a
it's,
choice, isn't it?
yeah,
It's a
yes,
choice. So
that's
we can
right.
choose to look at something from whatever perspective we choose to look at it. Yeah.
Hmm.
or
Yes, well, even
experience.
just being just paying attention, simply paying attention and observing, observing your inner world,
Mm.
engaging with the outer world, and it's a balance of both of those things. Um, these big shifts and fear in the world, it does make us turn inward more, which is a good thing. But there is this balance to be had because you can't just, hide, stay away, and go.
No, no, no,
You know,
no.
and sometimes I have to admit that sometimes meditation for me has been that hiding away
Yes,
of trying to,
escaping.
yes,
Yeah,
or even sometimes trying to change my experience through that. It's like
yeah,
if
yeah,
I the
yeah,
mantra or the attitude enough, then surely, surely the outside thing that I don't want to happen. But it's not about that. It's not about that. Um, but it is very useful to observe your own impulses to do that. And I find that
absolutely.
the more I go towards something that I might have fears around, or um, that might appear to be not what I want, uh, the more I go towards it with curiosity, and fascination, and almost expanding that as well into an embrace of it, embracing.
Mm.
Oh, that's a bit radical sometimes because
Yeah, yeah. Nobody wants to embrace a cactus,
That's right.
Sometimes
But
life is a cactus.
yeah. Well, whatever is here, whether it's a cactus or a beautiful flower, it's here. You're experiencing it, and
Mhm.
um, and you get to choose how you experience it, and to a degree, and from a
Yeah.
certain way of looking at that. Um, yes,
Mm.
but we do get to choose how we approach something. Um, and that doesn't mean, uh, you know, ignoring, avoiding uh, things by pretending they're better
They're
than they
not bigger.
are.
Yeah,
Oh,
indeed.
everything's perfect. So,
Yeah.
it's not that. But whatever is here. And it's to be engaged with, however you're choosing to do that. Mm.
Yes. And whether that's whether that's from I don't like to use the words positive or negative, but I guess those are the polarities that we live that we live with it. Um, whether you look at it from a positive view or a negative view, um, it's always really interesting to understand why that's positive or negative for you, because not everybody would see the same situation as positive, and not everybody would see the same situation as negative. It's your
Clearly,
perspective. Yeah,
clearly.
really. Yeah, exactly. Um, um, and that always fascinates me. That always fascinates me. And as I've got deeper into my journey, um, and the deeper I've got into ascension meditation, which has been my primary practice of meditation for a long time, although I've never went and did mastery and all that uh, towards that aspect of it. Um, I found that the more I've practiced and the more I sit in the silence, which isn't always very silent for me, It's
Yes.
there, it's always there, but they might be like, oh,
Of
all
course.
around
Yeah.
me all the time. But I find that I can create distance, and it sounds a little bit disconnected, but I don't mean it in a disconnected way. But um, I can create distance between the judgments of positive and negative,
Mm,
um, and see a situation for what it is. And for me, that's truth. What is. Not what I
mm.
think it is, not what I feel it is. It's exactly what it is. And
Yes.
so,
It
yeah,
is interesting that what you seem to be speaking of there, from my point of view, is can be known as detachment, um,
yeah,
and the meaning of that word may not be the same for different people,
yeah,
because detachment in the ordinary world, let's say, seems to be, as you say, disconnected. But within the practice of meditation, you naturally build up this kind of detachment, which
mm,
is not disconnection, but connection, and
mm,
it's not attachment, which is our
yes,
ordinary state of what this is good and I want it, and this is bad and I don't want it.
don't want it.
It's
Mm,
that sort of grasping and that avoidance that is a natural
pushing away.
human condition, of course.
Mm,
Um, but as we build up the meditation practice, it just naturally seems that we can more observe without that judgment coming in of good and bad, but
mm,
let whatever is here be here
yeah,
without that interference from the level of mind judging it.
judging it. Yes.
Yes. But it's not disconnection. People sometimes think, if you're detached, you're like, I don't know, like some sort of
You're
zombie.
aloof. It's not about aloofness. I think actually, yeah, I think there's a difference energetically in the words connection and attachment,
Mm, mm,
and disconnection and detachment. There's a there's a definite energetic difference. When you're attached to something, the energy that I get from that is that um, you're grasping for it. You're
mm,
grasping for whatever. You're
rightly.
attached to it.
Mm,
Yes.
yes.
There's a chain. There's something you're holding on to it. Whereas connection is fluid, and
Mm,
connection is innate. It
yes.
is
It's very
just
net.
there. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's recognizing that it's there.
Yes. In fact, it's always there. It
Yes.
always is. And it can appear that we're not all connected, but this is where the meditation practices and other practices um, come in very handy in terms of revealing to us the truth of how we are all connected. And, both ancient meditation practices and modern quantum science will tell you
Mm,
the same thing, which is that we are all one. We are all same. We are all energy, if you like, or God,
mm, mm,
depending on if
mm.
you're a quantum scientist or
Or how you
but
look at it. Yeah. It's semantics, isn't it?
yes, but we are all connected in this
Mm,
underlying state of reality, if you like. The real reality is we are all one. And And that's why times like these, in which the human world seems so separated, so polarized, so much division, that it's very jarring to us,
Mm.
because not only is that not true, it's that it reminds us, and so those extremes that are occurring are actually helpful in some way. You could see it as helpful in some way in terms of it reminding us more clearly,
Lessons.
showing more clearly that the
Yes.
truth, really, and reminding us who we really are, which
Mm.
is it's not this
It's
separate.
not, no, not the separate or even this personality.
Hmm.
We're not this. We're so much more. Um, and I so resonate with what you're saying about, you know, it, everything is here. And I don't like to say everything's here for a reason, um, because that sounds so trite. Our whole life is learning. That's why we've come here to this planet, is to learn. That it's experience, isn't it?
Hmm.
We're here to experience. And I was actually going to ask you, what is your purpose? But I think that's everybody's purpose, actually, is to experience everything, everything, everywhere, all at once. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but
Yeah, have you seen the film? Wow.
it's, a, it's like a bit like, oh, but it's an amazing movie, actually.
Yes,
But
such is life. Such is
and
life.
everything, yeah, exactly. But what it really comes down to is being here now, right now,
Well, we are,
present
aren't we?
moment.
Although we can, experience that to a certain degree or other,
Mm,
depending on where we're putting our attention, but it's just about simply, as you say, being here now, being aware of here now. You know,
mm,
it's awareness is the
is the
key.
key.
So just being aware of your awareness and where it's going, and whether it's, going to the chaos in your mind or to the strong emotions going through. And cool if it does, you get to experience, you get to experience that. But you can also play with it more, in terms of turning it inward and just observing your awareness and where it's going and what effect it is having on your experience throughout the day. Um,
Mm.
and
And
I
that's
love to
what
play
ascension
with
is about, isn't it?
that.
That
Mm.
essentially is what ascension meditation is
Yes,
about.
it is. It's just really observing, watching uh, your what you're aware of, paying attention to what you're aware of.
Mm,
And so much goes through our experience all the time. And it's, these waves of thoughts and these waves of emotions. And um, but the context of that is so much greater. It's like ocean of awareness that we
mm,
are. And and we fall into sometimes identifying with the waves that go through and believing that that's who we are. And um, we're always going to be that ocean because the waves cannot be.
they're part of the ocean, but they're not all of the ocean.
That's right, but they're always going to be.
It,
They can't be disconnected from the ocean. So
yeah.
it's remembering that context and resting back in that context when you play with your awareness of, resting back into that. It changes your experience of all those things passing through the
Mm.
thoughts, the emotions, and the circumstances, and um, it's
And the analogy of the ocean is amazing because the deeper you go into the ocean, the less effect the
mm,
waves on you.
that's right. That's right. I mean, the ocean's not disturbed by the crashing of the waves, or if it's very still, the depths of
Mm.
the ocean are. really anchored. Well, we've got some good water metaphors going on.
Yeah,
But I do
indeed.
like that. I mean, it is a classic meditation metaphor is the waves in the ocean.
Mm,
It's been in all the traditions mention of a version of that. And it's a good one to remember because it gives you that sense of the fluidity of consciousness and the collective. You know,
mm,
we are
mm,
so much part of our collective consciousness, which is why large events that are affecting the whole world are really have impact on us. We can also remember that we can have impact as well.
mm.
And that, you know, I always take heart from the fact that one individual can make a difference. Uh, it
Mm.
may just be in a small way, but it may be in a much larger way that even we do not fully realize. Um,
Mm.
which is why I think it's important to be aware of your awareness and what it's doing and what impact you're having. You know, it's almost like a responsibility. It's like a self-responsibility to
I,
know
I,
to
yeah.
know what effect you're having on
Mm,
others.
mm.
Mm,
I, and that to me is the definition of freedom. You know, is knowing knowing that you have that impact and um, being able to take responsibility for that impact
mm,
and 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 um, uh, a lot of people don't equate responsibility with freedom, but I don't believe that we can be free without taking responsibility. Because if you're not taking your own responsibility, you're abdicating it to something or someone else, and
mm.
then you're not free.
Yes, there's always going to be plenty of bidders for that. You know, there's always going to
Yeah.
be plenty of opportunities to give away your own power, if you
Mm,
like. Um, but the first step is realizing that you have power and
yeah.
then realizing what are you doing with it, you know.
Mm.
And I'm a great
And
advocate
also,
for being responsible in that. Uh,
yes, and also realizing that you have a choice in what you do with it because
yeah.
it's your power. It's,
Mm.
you know,
And
um,
you can choose to give it away.
yeah,
But
exactly.
then you
You
get
can,
that. Then you get
yeah,
that.
yes. Um, yeah, it's a fascinating paradigm, I guess. You know, when you start realizing how we all we're we all have the power of the creator because we were created or we are created um in the image of God, you know, and that is um a universal premise. It's not just a Christian or a Jewish premise. It's actually quite a universal premise. If you look into a lot of the creation myths, they all have certain themes in them that are very similar, and one of the most prominent ones is that we're created in the image of. And I think once we realize that power and take responsibility for that power, there's nothing that can stop us, you know, um, or start us even, unless we choose it, you know. So, um, with ascension meditation, would you say that that is what it does. It helps you tap into that original creation, that original creative energy or power or spirit, if you like.
Mm,
I don't, yeah.
mm. Yes, well, I think all types of meditation have the same aim, which is um, really to take your attention inwards back to who you really are. So, um, there are so many different methods of doing that. And actually, you don't even need meditation to do that. That
No.
the universally available experience because it's who we are. So,
Mm,
but using a tool, some sort of tool like a meditation to
mm,
direct your attention inwards, um, it's like you start to experience your natural self again. You start to experience source. So
mm,
um, it's like they often talk about how meditation will make you more present, more here in the moment. Um,
yeah.
like be here now. But it's more than that as well. It's also makes you more aware of presence. So
Mm,
that's that.
mm,
And that's where it gets very difficult to talk about because because it's a really indescribable. It is an experience that you have
mm,
uh, of being
mm,
aware of presence, and we've all had
mm,
that experience in many ways throughout our lives,
mm, mm.
and may not have clearly recognized it
Realize that,
before.
yeah.
Yes, but if you are interested in exploring that and exploring your consciousness,
Mm,
the tools of meditation that are ancient methods that are known to allow you to more easily remember and get in touch with that presence, which is, very cool, very, very, very quite
yes.
surprising. Quite it quite once you've tasted that, it just changes your experience of the rest of how you experience life, really. Um,
Mm,
so I would encourage people to have a go.
yes. And what I love about this particular, um, I don't know, what would you call it, modality
Yeah,
of
the method.
meditation?
Yeah.
Yeah, this method, yeah, this tool, because there are so many. But what I found was consistent for me was the ease with which, um,
Mm,
the ease of it. Um, who would have thought that something so easy could create something so profound?
mm.
I
Well, it is
always,
easy in a way, doesn't it? It has to be because it
it
is you.
has to be.
And how I mean, we can make these things very complicated and, put a whole lot of rituals and all sorts around things,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
which have their
Um,
own fun.
yes,
But
they do. And there's nothing wrong with them at all, at all. I don't have any, I mean, I enjoy a good ritual
yeah, that's right.
as much as the next woo-woo person. But yes, I think for me, um, what the longevity of this practice has been in its ease.
Mm, mm,
That you can use it with your eyes open, you can use it with your eyes closed, um, and it's easy.
mm.
It,
Yes.
it's about
Yeah.
just bringing your awareness back, bringing your
Mm,
awareness back. Like you said, awareness is the key. And so often, um, there's some there's some magic in them in the attitudes as well. And we might have to explain for those who don't understand or have never heard of ascension meditation, the
Mm.
process in it. So would you like
Yes,
to?
well, I mean, that probably would take a bit long, but it is
In a
it's
nutshell.
like there's various vehicles you can use in meditation to shift your awareness. And a lot of different practices will use different things, like even simple things like looking into a candle flame or bringing your attention to your breath. Those can be very powerful and effective. There's also traditions where you use a mantra. And I just went on a trip to India in which the the group I was with, we were using mantras, and that was very interesting to have that experience of using the power again, the powerful words or vibrations that evoke a certain kind of frequency.
Mhm.
And yes, so in Ascension meditation, they use what they call an attitude, which is like a mantra. And so a mantra is a word or a set of words. Um, and in Ascension, you use a simple set of words or
A
um,
phrase, really.
sentence or a phrase
Yeah.
that's constructed in a particular way in order to harness your brain getting into a certain state.
Mm.
And yes, it's very easy. Just like you can think a thought, no matter what you're doing throughout the day, you can easily think one of these techniques and see how it changes your
That's-
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
It's funny how we can also take these tools and, and turn them into something else as well, um, which has been my experience sometimes, talking about the wanting to hide away in meditation, things like
Mm.
that. Uh,
Yes.
it
So
can,
those are
yeah,
just tools. They're not.
they're just tools. Yeah.
They're not the thing. They're
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
They're
They're
not
not
what
the
you
thing. Yeah,
why
yeah,
you're meditating. They're not.
yeah. They're the finger pointing to the moon. But
Yes.
what you really want to look at is the moon, not the finger.
Will be the moon. So
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So, yeah, the whole simplicity of it is really deceptive, I think, to a lot of people too, because for a lot of people, the belief system and to a certain extent that was me, their belief system dictated that you have to work hard for something.
Mm.
Anything special you have to really work hard for, otherwise it's not worth it.
Yes.
Um,
Well,
but
you don't
that's
have to
something you
work
really
hard
have to let
for
go of when, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
but it is a practice, so you do have to do it, The techniques
yeah,
only
you
work
have to do
if
it.
you use them.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
you don't have to make them work.
no, but
They just work.
there is a little bit of discipline in terms of,
Yeah,
using it every
doing
day.
it.
Yes.
Fair enough.
But it's not hard. It's
No,
not
it's
hard.
not hard.
It's
No,
it's simple. Yes.
but not simplistic.
Yes.
It's simple but not simplistic. Yeah, I've always described it as that. Yeah.
Yes, but people get to have their own experience. It's not really about um, what I say or what you say about it. It's just people using the techniques and having their own experience with them and seeing what it's like for them.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because yeah, well, you can't have somebody else's experience for them anyway. So even though you might think you can or that you might want to, but you actually can't. So it's futile. So Savitri, if people actually want to learn this particular
Mm,
modality, this particular set of tools,
mm.
um, what are the options?
Yeah. Well, I know I've got an option coming up shortly. So I'm doing a weekend retreat at Samadhi, which is between Otaki and Levin, just about an hour north of Wellington. So that's the weekend, November, I think 15th to the 17th, or 16 and 17.
Mhm,
So if
mhm.
people are curious and would like to come and learn and hang out in nature, beautiful, peaceful spot in nature, and have
And
some
it so is. It's just a stunning place to be.
and we've got yoga teacher coming as well, so you can have a bit of
Oh,
yoga. Um, yeah, so if people want to learn that weekend, they can have a look at my website, which is samadhi.nz. So that's samadhi.nz,
fancy.
and have a look there. Yeah, but otherwise, I'm sure there's plenty of other things available. Or you can just go out and have a nice walk on the beach. Bring your attention inwards while you do
Exactly.
it.
Be aware of your breath. Yeah, exactly. There's so many different uh, it, meditation doesn't have to be learnt. I don't think.
No,
It
just doing something you love doing will get you in that state, actually. So
has
I'd
yeah, like
encourage anyone to
an
do that.
artist painting,
Yes,
or a writer writing,
yeah,
when you really get into the flow of things, you go somewhere else.
yeah.
Don't
Musician making
oh,
music, where there's so many
yeah.
ways that we can experience that
Gardening.
in life. So, and it's often what we're chasing. That's why we love doing the things we love doing, because we fall into that state when we're doing it. So, yeah, whatever way works for you, go for it. Because we all need a bit more peace, a bit more joy, a bit more flow in our lives.
Contentment. Yes.
Strange times we are living in, this topsy-turvy world.
Yeah, this very, very wavy, the very wavy sea that we are in.
Yes,
And
yeah. And the
tidal
tsunami.
waves and things going on. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Um, and it's a wonderful thing that actually we can find that place of peace anytime we choose.
Mm. Yes,
It's
it
just being
doesn't
aware
always
that
seem
you
that
can.
way, does it? And it's very challenging sometimes. But once you've
Yes.
once you've accessed it once and you've learned how, we can do it all the time.
Mm, mm.
Mm.
Well, thank you so much for being with me and having a chat. And
Oh,
we
my
just went
pleasure.
right deep, deep into the ocean. We did. I never know how these things are going to go. So
Yes.
thank you. And
Oh, thank you.
if
My pleasure, my honor.
and if people want to get hold of you, your 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 website. I
Yeah,
That just completely went out of my head. Your website again is samadhi.nz.
Martin.nz, great.